All right, here we go. This is the 450 post-race press conference from Anaheim 1, 2023 kickoff. Guys, that was an incredible ride. The crowd got their money's worth. That was insane. Congratulations, Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, and Chase Sexton. Eli, I'll start with you. If we look in history, you've been very successful in Supercross, a lot of wins, now the championships, but Anaheim 1 has not been your friend. And today, from qualifying to the heat to the main event, you were extremely impressive. Why? Is it new comfort this year, just a mentality shift to start the season? This was incredible. Why so hot at Anaheim 1?
I guess this experience, yeah, and I mean, this is my 10th Anaheim 1 in 450 class, so apparently it took me 10 times to figure it out how to get everything to go the right way for round 1, you know, from preseason to the race itself. So, but overall, that was just a wild race, you know, early battling with Justin there, and then making that or crashing up the tunnel jump. I just got a little bit in the back seat of my bike, washed the front end up, and then thankfully everything stayed straight. Bars and my clutch was good, and was able to stay within touch of the front. So, and the track was I don't know, probably top 3 on just pure gnarliness. The way the transitions were, and you know, you had to time the jumps literally perfect, or you'll see where you're launching off the track and make a mistake. So, but overall, such a good start for us especially on this new platform.
When you got up after the crash, was it, all right, let's get some points, let's be solid, or was it look up, see the leader, and go, no, I got this, I'm gonna go for it?
That was not my thought at first. I honestly thought that I threw it away, and I would be lucky to get podium. But the way the track was, it was so gnarly. I guess there was time to be lost and time to be made for sure. So maybe that was a little bit in my favor.
Congratulations, great ride. Jamie.
Jamie, Vital MX. Chase, when you made the mistake in the rhythm lane and allowed Eli to catch you and then get by you, it seemed like it took you a lap or two to get back in rhythm. Was there anything wrong with the bike, anything going on in your head? Because it definitely didn't seem like you were riding the same until the end.
Yeah, no, it was, I don't know, the track, like Eli said, was just really gnarly. And when you make a mistake like that, what happened was I actually overjumped the quad into the corner, landed in a rut, and it shifted to third, and I didn't realize. Came out of the corner in third and just had no lift. And I tried to go for the next one and just kept casing the whole rhythm section basically, and lost what felt like forever. And after that was really hard to get back into a flow until, honestly, the last lap when Cooper passed me. My last lap felt good, and I found some different lines, and it really was just being able to move around. I didn't move around enough to see what other lines were doing, and I kind of was just narrow-minded on what I was riding. So that's something I have to adjust to, and these guys are no slouch at that for sure. They know how to ride rough tracks, and that's something that I'm still learning. But overall, it was a solid day for me. I wish I would have rode a lot better the last 10 minutes of that main event, but you know, we go back to work and work on it for next week.
Michael Antonovich with SWAT Moto Live. Eli, for you, you just said like the race super intense and everything, but that first 5 minutes was great racing from 1st to 7th. The crowd was super into it. How do you manage that? Do you hear that all going on? How do you not get overwhelmed and get into mistakes or anything?
I mean, you hear it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just like, can you focus? And that's just part of Supercross, though, and that's what makes it so cool. Is yeah, you hear the action, whether it's you yourself in a battle or you hear something else going on the track. It's just something you gotta deal with.
Michael Lindsay, Vital Mix. This question is for Cooper Webb. Coop, you ended the first lap, I believe, in 10th. I think you were a little farther back that off the start. At that point, with all the heavy hitters in the field, everybody healthy coming A1, did you believe you would get as far forward as you did? And if not, at what point into the race did you realize you probably made more ground than expected?
Yeah, like you said, the start was not good. Me and Mal kind of got into it, and then I wasn't too bad. I was right behind Chase, and I actually stalled it, and then that kind of put me back to like that you said back there. So I just put my head down. I mean, I saw up front it was a freight train, and fortunately no one was really getting away too much. So we were all pretty fast, especially at the beginning. We were all riding well and made a few passes. I mean, it's tough because A1, everyone's feisty and want to T-bone, and we're all excited. So it was just being smart, getting around guys, but moving forward, not wasting too much time, but not being stupid. And then, like you said, at the end, I actually just felt really good. The track was insanely rough and found some good lines, and just was me and Dylan were kind of coming through, and then got around him and got around Kenny, and just saw Chase and was able to make a pass there late. So I was stoked. I mean, I was really hoping, honestly, just to kind of get a top 5 or a podium, probably about halfway, and then, like Eli said, I just kind of started clicking away, and guys made mistakes and worked out.
For all of you, Richard Haight, Sports Life Magazine, do you guys feed off the enthusiasm of the crowd, or do you isolate it? I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's for me, it's been a while since I've heard it this crazy, and I think there was just so much action, from first to 10th. Everyone was going wild. So it's good and it's bad. If you're out front, you're not sure what's happening, but it's definitely electric.
Second, for Eli, pretty auspicious start to the season. Does that give you other thoughts to write other things or going forward?
Right other things?
Compete in other events.
No, I mean, not as of right now. I just have this Supercross series signed in my contract, so that's what I got going on right now.
Dan with Main Event Moto. Cooper, you seem to make the less of the mistakes of the night. Everybody seemed to make pretty big mistakes at times, and it seemed like you limited those mistakes. At Friday's press conference, you mentioned you're washed up. Are you still washed up, or is the champ back?
Man, it feels good to be up here again for sure. We had a really, really good off season and fixed a lot of stuff, with myself, with the bike, and I was definitely, a dick this off season, but I got what I needed from the team and feel like we're in a really good spot, and I knew what I'm capable of. So, I mean, I expected the 3 right here for us to go all the way, and we'll see what happens at the end. But yeah, it just really does feel good to be back on the podium. I mean, I sucked last year, so it feels nice.
Jason Wygant for Racer X. Cooper, I think when Eli got up, you were pretty close to him and ahead of Dylan, and then suddenly he was away from you and Dylan was ahead. So what happened there?
I don't actually remember. I was trying to fluster Eli when he got up, but he was holding strong, and I did make a mistake, and then he got around Dylan, and then Dylan actually was riding really well. He really was, and we kind of got into a battle, and that allowed kind of cat and mouse, and that allowed Eli to get that little gap. But yeah, it was a lot of mayhem, a lot of passing, a lot of stuff going on.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Cooper, I know you never lost confidence in yourself, but have you regained confidence in the bike? And how much of this was you, and how much of it was the bike has made some gains?
Yeah, I mean, we've changed pretty much everything on this thing, so we've done a lot, and I mean, it's tough. You definitely get down and you start to doubt yourself, but I never really lost doubt in my ability for sure. I just know I needed. At our level, we're all fit, we're all fast, and you need comfort, and without that, it's tough. I think I look at F1 and look at Lewis Hamilton this year. So anyway, but it's good to be back up here.
Grace with Speed Sport.
Grace with Speed Sport. This goes out to Eli. Eli, you had the start. You made the mistake on the tabletop, but you came back and got Chase for the win. Now that you've experienced the new Yamaha in a race setting, can you just kind of talk about just how comfy and how confident you feel with this new bike?
I mean, honestly was surprised how good we were for round 1, and it being a new bike. I mean, it's not easy setting up a new motorcycle, no matter what anyone says, because a lot of times it just takes race experience period and being in the moment and learning things. But somehow we did start off in the right spot, and the platform totally performed well. And I've said this a bunch lately, but the big thing about this bike is it lost a lot of weight, and I can totally feel it. And then for Supercross, it's amazing for change of direction.
Josh Mosman, Motocross Action. Eli, great job. you do a great job of showing that you don't care too much about little things, and you only focus on championship. And so, with so many people asking you the question yesterday, do you want to win Anaheim 1? You've missed out on it 10 times. Now you finally made it happen. How much does this mean to you, or are you truly as stoic as you seem to be, to where it seems like you just don't care, you just want to win the championship? How much does this mean to you?
I mean, it is it's nice to have the win here, absolutely. But yeah, I'm always big picture in my head, which is racing for the championship.
All right, and then Chase Sexton, how are you going to? What's your mindset going into next weekend? You rode awesome today. You had so many amazing laps, but obviously it wasn't the result that you wanted. A lot of people can learn from you and from your racing. It's challenging to have a mistake and then to fight back. What are you going to do this week, and what's your mindset going to be on?
Just for me, really just working on my motos and just doing more and more laps. I'm pretty comfortable on my bike, and really it was just being in a race setting, being back on the Supercross track. And Anaheim 1 is, for me, that was probably one of the gnarliest Supercross tracks I've ridden other than Daytona. So that was really hard to jump into and be consistent and perfect throughout the whole main event, and that's something I struggled with. So being back in a race setting was good for me to get through this race, and now just turn my focus to next weekend. It's going to be, I think, probably wet again and gnarly. So, just trying to focus on clicking off better laps. And during the week, it's so hard to really, I guess, make it the same kind of race day conditions. So for me, just focusing, getting my mind in a better spot later in the races is going to be my biggest thing. And I felt better once Cooper passed me. It got a little fire lit underneath me, but it was obviously the last lap. So for me, just focusing on doing my thing during the week and coming back out and having another 20-minute main event.
Ryan Nitzen with Cycle News. My question's for Chase. You looked really patient on the way up to the front to catch Malcolm, and I know you talked a lot about that over the offseason. Can you take us through that pass? Did you know that you put him off the track, or was that on purpose or accident?
Yeah, I was super patient early. I knew that the track was going to get super ate up, so I wasn't in a big hurry, I should say. Eli got to the front, and once he got up there, I was like, okay, well, I kind of really need to start making passes, and Kenny ended up missing the finish line, so I got him, and then Eli went down, and then I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to make a charge to try and put a gap on, because I knew Eli was still somewhat close, I just wanted to get by Malcolm, and he missed that rhythm section, and I quadded into that corner. And honestly, he kind of just stayed in the gas, and I didn't even mean to hit him. I just was running the corner, and I couldn't really stop. I hit that bump and going into the corner, and he was there. So didn't mean to hit him by any means. Didn't mean to put him off the track. I wanted to make the pass, and I got it done there.
Alex Gober, MotoOnline.com. For Chase, we know that you had a lot, quite a different setting coming into this season. How was it for you tonight, and was it difficult to evaluate it, I guess, considering the conditions moving forward?
Definitely tough. Didn't expect the conditions we had today, but, after the rain, I kind of did. And tonight it was a good test for the bike. I was really happy with the front. It was definitely a lot more stable than it has been in years prior, and last year had a really weird kind of twitch coming into the corner here, which caused me to go down, and tonight was even gnarlier than that. So I think that was a good step in the right direction, and I wasn't scared every lap going through the whoops tonight. So that was super good, and I felt safe and stable in those, and they weren't long, but I felt solid. So that was nice to kind of be able to focus on the rest of the track and not be worrying about the whoops 24/7.
Mike Lindsay, Vital Mix. My question is primarily for Eli, but I would enjoy any other answers to this. We keep talking about how gnarly the track was, particularly, I believe, the rhythm lane from third base to home base was insane for you guys. But what stood out to you most each lap? What was kind of sticking out in your head that you were most worried about?
Well, there was that lane, the triple, whatever it was. The first ramp had a massive pothole, leading up to the ramp. And it was unbelievable. We kind of started way inside, and then that got super steep with the kicker, and then after that, it was just like you had to go down the middle of it and just deal with it. And then you try to land and pick a rut on the next one, and when the dirt's like that, it's really easy to either short or go long on those jumps, so that's another thing that's tough to deal with. And then after I guess it would be like the start straightaway, that last double into the turn, that thing had a nasty curve in it too, so you really had to be careful with your line selection in there.
Coop, track was, we hear is rough, but it seems like almost every race it's the roughest and toughest race ever. So was this really the toughest race ever and gnarliest track? And then also, it's a two-part question. How does it feel just first race is over with, you're at the post-race press conference, off-season's over, you're in the race season now. Give us your thoughts.
I think what made it so tough was we ran out of places to go. I mean, everywhere was just a deep rut where you're dragging peg, and with the way that they had the tarp and stuff, I mean, it's unbelievable how well they made it, but it was almost like curbs as faces. The holes would be like very inconsistent. You could go the same line, and the next lap it would just have a massive like curb, and you feel like you're going to do a front flip. So I think that's what made it so tough. And then, to be honest, they didn't do much before our main, which was pretty surprising. So I think when we got out there, like Eli said, the one triple section in, I mean, it was a kicker the whole way across. And so that's what made it tough. And but I think, yeah, like I said, at the second question, it's really is really good to be up here. I mean, it's been a long year, I guess, since I was here last year. But after that, it went pretty downhill. So I feel good, man. Like I said, I feel really, really good on the bike. I feel strong and feel like we're in a good raceable spot. So I'm excited to see where this season takes us.
Jamie, Vital MX. Cooper, I'm going to stick with you. You talked about, you kind of joked, so changed almost everything on the bike. Last year you struggled a little bit in the whoops, and you struggled to cut down in the corners, which you're known for. Seemed like you were doing that really well tonight. Can you give us some specifics on some things that have been changed that make you more comfortable?
We've engine, chassis, suspension, triple clamps, pretty much everything in the engine, transmission, foot pegs, every piece on that motorcycle.
Thanks.
Coop, do you feel that the feeling you were looking for, did it replicate on the track?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, I think for me, turning's my go-to, and tonight I could turn on a dime, which was incredible. You always ride your practice tracks, and you hope that's what it aligns to, but you never know. And like you said, I felt super good in the whoops, jumping or skimming all day. So, it's going to be different. You're going to have good tracks and bad tracks, but overall, I'm pretty happy to. I think I changed one click today, which is unbelievable for me. So I'll take that, and I'm sure we'll improve little by little once we kind of get in the flow of things. But yeah, I think we're in a really good spot.
Alan Bailey with ARN. Question for all three of you guys. What's your confidence on your bikes going into next week?
It's just, I mean, it was like an East Coast condition. So if you're going to say my bike works good on East Coast, I'll say right now. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like the typical hard pack Anaheim, but overall, I feel very comfortable with what I've got going on.
Yeah, same here. We're in a good spot, and like you said, you'll change probably a little bit if it dries up, but overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, pretty stoked on the off season and what we got with the bike, and did a lot of, like Coop said, we didn't change as much as he did, but it's quite a bit different than what I raced last year, and we're always going to be tweaking and looking to be better, but overall, I'm happy with the package I'm on right now.
Let's go to Trent, Moto Limited.
Thanks, Trent, Moto Limited. I'll go to you, Eli, on this. A little bit different start to what we've seen in the last couple of years with the split section and the whoops in the middle of that as well. So it seemed like you guys were separated for a lot longer before coming together, and we've seen a few crashes. Was that your gate pick sort of determining that as well, coming into that main event of not getting anywhere near where that carnage seems to be in the middle?
Yeah, I stayed in the same gate basically all day other than my very first practice start, and I just stayed there, which was on the inside gates, and it was like gate 3 from the tunnel. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, any first turn can be a little bit sketchy, but I had really good starts today, so I was able to, luckily able to stay out of the mess.
For Chase, you've had so many strong runs in Supercross, and it seems like fairly often things went wrong. How much did the dominant performance that you had in outdoors last year change what happened today?
Definitely put me in a better mindset. I think last year, even prior to that, I was just really happy. I mean, I'm happy to be on the podium, and I was happy to get that race win last year, but I was never really, I guess, I was looking to be in a championship hunt, but I wasn't able to experience that. So last year in outdoors, I was able to battle with Eli, and it really taught me a lot more than I could have ever asked for. So now I feel like I'm matured a lot over the last summer and then going into the off season, and it's put me in just a good headspace, and confidence-wise, I'm good. And it changes your riding when you're confident and know what you're capable of doing. So that's really all. It's just a mindset thing, and everyone knows sports is a lot in the mind, and it's been showing.
Yeah, Nick, MotoOnline.com. For Coop, just take us through that track. From the moment you got on there first thing this morning, we've seen a lot of guys struggling with it. How did it change throughout the day? Did it, it seemed to get better and better, and the racetrack we had tonight, from what we started with, was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, tonight was better, I'd say, than practice, but it was pretty consistent with the way it developed. Those ruts were pretty much the same spot every time we were on the track, and those still kind of curvy jumps. But yeah, it was good for me. I'm never great at qualifying, but I was in the mix all day, which was nice, and just stayed consistent. I feel like, like I said, I get better once we go racing, and I feel like that's what happened tonight.
Well, guys, congratulations. It's an awesome night. Great kickoff to 2023. Congrats.